Hi, good evening, everyone. First, I want to welcome you to today's first Chesapeake chat session. Meet some of our FTC head refs and ask your questions about the upcoming season. My name is Christian Jones, and I'll be your moderator for the evening. Thank you to our first Chesapeake chat sponsor, Newport News Shipbuilding. Just some quick housekeeping. Go open up for discussions and questions later if there is time. Feel free to put the questions in the comments or at the chat, and we'll try to get to them all. In the meantime, I'm going to turn the conversation over to Jim.
Good evening. Thank you, Christian. Welcome to the Specialty Chat, and we are lucky enough to have a handful of our head refs from both Maryland and Virginia, now the combined Maryland, Virginia Chesapeake Chats. Basically, we are here, as I said on the scrimmage, we are here to basically answer your questions, and really no question is... You can ask any question. No question is taboo, but if they're about the game, if they're not a cut and dry answer that we can directly reference from the game manuals, we're going to ask you to put it in the forums. But we can definitely try and field questions you have about the game, how the game's going to work in our hybrid and our unprecedented time situation. But while we wait for some questions to come in, basically, we'll go around the horn here and have each head ref that's online introduce themselves. I'm Jim Anderson, head ref in Virginia. Oh boy, came to First Robotics through my company, Collins Aerospace, who's a First Tech Challenge game sponsor, and have been refereeing ever since and enjoying every minute of it. So I guess we'll pass it. We'll go counterclockwise here. We'll go over to Jeff, Randy, Caitlin, and Paul. Go in that order. We can give yourself a little quick intro.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Kelbeck. I'm a head ref in Maryland and Virginia. I've been doing this for about 10 years. When I was in high school, I did FRC, and when I graduated, I volunteered for the first event I could find. And lo and behold, while I was in college, FTC was born. So I wound up volunteering for FTC by accident, and that was 2009, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, Randy.
All right. Hi, this is Randy Rupp. I've been an FRC mentor for 8 years now. I got into FTC because the Maryland State Championships, like 4 years ago, were held at Mount St. Mary's. And my wife teaches up at Mount St. Mary's, and she said, "Gee, Randy, they're asking for more volunteers." And since I've been reffing soccer for like a dozen years, I said, "Okay, I think I can learn the rules real quick and do that." And so, as I said, I've been reffing for 4 years. I've been a head ref. This would be my third year as a head ref. You're up, Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Davey. I've done FLL, VEX, C-Perch, all the varieties of robotics. In 2013, excuse me, I helped found FTC Team Cubics, and then I think I was on the team for 3 years, and then graduated high school. I just recently graduated college and work at McCormick. I've been a head ref for 2 years now, I believe, but I've been volunteering throughout my entire time in FTC.
Okay, Paul.
Hello, my name's Paul Markham. I've been involved in First Robotics since like 2006 when my son got started. Been a mentor for several years, and then I was head inspector for Maryland for a number of years, and then head referee, and now I'm just head refereeing in Maryland and Virginia. So I really enjoy watching kids get involved in robotics and seeing how it affects their decisions and the careers they choose.
Excellent. So looking at our comment section here, I see that we've requested you put your questions there in chat. No questions yet. As Mark Edelman, he's the world galactic, whatever, the head referee for the world, I know it's intergalactic referee, is fond of saying, if we don't get any questions, then it's a pretty boring chat, and the last thing you want me to do is start dancing or doing something other ridiculous like that. I'm sure I'd be the hit. In the meantime, just give you a quick overview. I don't know. We had a scrimmage a couple weeks ago using our hybrid solution where, from the referee perspective, the head ref was, and this is how we are anticipating this will appear, or how this will function on the events coming in January of next year, that the head ref will be in person at the event venue with the 8 teams. I think there's 8 teams that will be cycling through, 8 teams cycling through every couple hours. And the referees, the scoring refs, will be remote, actually watching the video feed, communicating with the head ref on site through Discord and coordination as they score the game remotely. Definitely have, okay, a question. Can you talk a bit about how the referee is different than the hybrid model, or just talk about what to expect? So I owe somebody some money there because they set me up. To the other referees, maybe Randy or Caitlin or Jeff or Paul, during that scrimmage where we had the head ref on the field and the scoring refs, you were scoring ref at that time. Any thoughts on how it's going to be different this year, the hybrid solution, what the teams can expect in terms of, how well we can referee the event?
Yeah, the biggest problem I had was I was lagging a lot. For some reason, the feed to Frederick, Maryland was kind of slow. At times, I was 20 seconds behind. So, don't expect the scores to register as fast as when we're all live. I think that's the biggest problem, is there'll be a big lag. During that scrimmage, I happened to have the Twitch feed up too. So I could have, I sort of was looking over there and saying, okay, what am I going to see in about 10 seconds? And because the head referee had her microphone on the whole time, I could actually hear when we started. And that's the good news there is, we can talk to the head ref and maybe mention things. That's going to be the big problem, since you only got one penalty ref, and that being the head ref. The extra set of eyes are going to have to talk through the head ref to talk to the team, saying, "Hey, you're pinning, or you're blocking, or something like that." And so there'll be again another delay. So I think we're going to have to be a little bit more lax about how many seconds. Right. I might not see it for 10 seconds, and it's like, all right, this is a problem.
Caitlin, any insight?
Yeah, going off what Randy said, there's only one person there and physically in person. So if you're a team and you're on the field, usually there's a ref usually at each corner scoring, but here you're going to have to kind of look for that head ref. That's your point of contact. That's the important person to talk to if your robot is disabled or something like that. You have to look for them. They won't always be right next to you as they used to be.
Jeff, any?
Jeff, you got on mute.
He's working on it.
Yeah, I can find my mouse to do that. Yeah, no, it like Caitlin and Randy said, it's going to be a very different setup from what you're used to. The head ref will be there. Then there will be 4 referees watching you on cameras, or watching your robots on cameras. And anything we have to say to you will go through the head ref, which is just going to be a little bit weird for everybody.
Okay. Paul?
But
I think I enjoyed the experience, although the camera feeds that they had for the field that I was looking at in Maryland were not very good, but what I saw in Virginia was good. So I think we have a potential where we can do things in real time. If I see penalties, once again, like everybody said, we're going to have to work through the head ref. Obviously, in the beginning of the season, there's probably not going to be much action, but the season doesn't start until January, so everybody should have pretty good robots then. So we may have a lot of action going on there. So it could be very challenging. And hopefully we won't have to ask questions of the head ref as the game is going on. Did you see if they had 2 rings in the robot when they dropped? We are just going to have to make the best, do the best we can. We're not going to wind up the feed, and that's still illegal. So according to the rules, no playbacks or anything like that.
Right. No, that's a good point. That the robots that on the scrimmage, were actually a lot more capable than I thought. That was very impressive. But yeah, I believe the teams are gonna be tuned up since the matches start so late. But yeah, we're working out the lag. The scrimmage was our first time trying it all remotely. Talking amongst the refs, talking to the teams, figuring out how to start when the handoff from the MC to us to the scorekeeper, the 3-2-1 go, randomization of the field, working on all those bugs. But I think my biggest takeaway was it can be done. It's definitely technically feasible. It can be done. We just got to work out the bugs and learn how to operate, remotely, being more deliberate with our communications. The teams, we made a decision. The head refs met earlier this year with Ron and Sarah. We talked through, and we made a decision to have the head ref there. We're limited with the number of volunteers, with the number of participants, but having the head ref there, just to, as I can't remember which one of you said it, to have that extra set of eyes on there. So, hey, is that over the line? Hey, was that a penalty? Hey, talk to that team, warn that team. That can all be done. So yeah, you may not be able to talk to you, like Caitlin said, being able to turn to the left or right and talk to a ref and, hey, I need some help, but hopefully with that head ref there, that it'll bring some normalcy rather than having this nebulous, 5 people ruling your fate, that you really can't talk to or hear at any time.
So the good news is, because we're rotating between sites instead of fields, when it's fully up and there's 3 events running at the same time, there's going to be a lot of dead time where we can actually talk to people in the question box. Whereas, the very first time I was a head ref, it was a 3-field event, and I was just racing between the 3 fields constantly. Here, the head ref will watch their event, and then, we can deal with questions and all that a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, it's not as pressured. No more questions coming in, so I'm going to embarrass the head refs here.
I've got something to say.
Oh, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
I mean, one of the things that I really liked about is when we do have multiple events on the same time, we're able to talk to the referees on the other events. So that we can actually talk and share information and get better standardization of the rules.
Yes, having Discord was really neat. And at the scrimmage, after we ran our scrimmage, I would pop over and watch Caitlin, Randy, and Lisa Evans, who was the head ref there in Richmond, actually conduct their match and just be, the quiet observer and just watching. Oh, that's how they're doing it there. That's how they're doing it there. And then, but definitely there's going to be that back channel communication where the referees and even the head refs, as Randy said, there'll be downtime between matches where the head refs can confer on these back channels. I'd be curious now, just saying that it may be possible that that's something that can. Well, I won't pontificate here. I would say something that could translate when we're back to normal. Talk just while we're waiting for questions. About becoming a ref, about volunteering, about raising to a head ref. Jeff, you said something interesting. You said you became a ref by accident. Is that what?
Yeah. Well, I started volunteering with FTC by accident. I thought I was volunteering for FRC, but didn't know there was another high school program at the time because there wasn't one when I was in school. But so yeah, I volunteered first as a judge because I confused what a judge and a ref were. And most people will not make that mistake after they make it once. And that was a really interesting event. It was a lot of fun. And after that, I went on to being an inspector for a couple events and refs, and bounced back and forth, and found that I love reffing a lot more than anything else. And started trying a whole bunch of positions with FRC also, and yeah.
So how many times did you judge before you became a ref?
I have judged exactly once.
Same here, one time.
Judging is a fantastic position. We need all the judges we can get.
Exactly.
But it takes a very special kind of person, and I am not that kind of special.
I have also only judged once and then went back to reffing. I think it's definitely a personality thing.
So, and then Randy, have you done anything but ref? And then Paul, will come to you too.
The second year, I volunteered to do a whole bunch of stuff. I said, hey, I could be a scorekeeper. I could be an MC. I could be, a whole bunch of stuff. They tried to actually make me one time the head robot inspector. And I was like, I've never been a robot inspector. You're going to make me the head? Luckily, they found someone that was qualified because I was sweating bullets until the last minute. That, reading and what, just there's a lot more rules.
Right.
But I enjoyed refereeing because, as I said, I was a soccer referee, and I'm getting too old. My feet don't work well. So going from, a huge field to a 12-foot by 12-foot field, matched my physical capabilities. So I'm more than happy to be a referee. And I always thank every judge I see at an event saying, I think you've got the harder job than I do.
Yeah. Agree completely. Paul, how did you?
I've done judging, but only for Lego for a number of years. It used to be a big NAVC program from Dogman, I guess it was, that would sponsor a number of Lego events. I've judged a number of times. Very enjoyable. There's not much action. You couldn't really be a referee on a Lego event. You're not going to be able to do much there. But the judging part, that was very enjoyable. To see the kids do some of the skits and things for their reports and stuff is just really cool.
A new question.
Got a question. Is there another scrimmage planned? You recommend teams sign up for scrimmages? Yes, I believe there is another scrimmage plan on December 5th. I'm not sure. I think Ron announced it at the end of our October 24th scrimmage. And so I'm not quite sure how you sign up for it. But yes, one thing we were looking for in the next scrimmage was to have more robots in the field, more interaction on the field with the robots actually playing the game. I know there was a couple times where at the previous scrimmage, but was completely expected, was, there was a lot of hurry up and wait for the referees, hoping the robots would do something so we could press the scoring button or, talk amongst ourselves on whether, a penalty occurred or anything like that. So I think that's, that was the dry run for our scrimmage to prove the technology. I think the next one is, I would call it like sort of the soft opening. That will start to set the, cement the procedures and the processes and how the entire, not just the referees, but how the entire event will run and work. So yes, I think when that's announced, definitely if you're willing and capable, I think signing up for the scrimmage would be good. I think I'm not sure if we'll have 2 sites again, but if we have 2 sites, it'll be basically 4 teams probably per site, just like we had before.
Yeah, when we had the previous one, I think Ron said November 1st was when they'd open up that teams could sign up for the December 5th scrimmage. So it should be open. I don't have the link though to tell you how to do it.
Stay tuned. I'm sure there'll be emails. While we're waiting for the next questions to come in, I'm curious to. Question came to me, and so I don't really have an answer, but I'll give it, open it to you for. What do you think the most challenging portion of the game this year will be for the team? Or maybe let me phrase it this way: what do you think? What do you think is going to surprise you in this game, and maybe your just overall feeling of the game? I like it. It's a much more open game. It actually, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of stuff happening all over the field, and we only have 4 cameras. So that was my first. But any thoughts on the game? What do you think you expect to see when, in terms of the teams and the competition as we start and then move through the season?
I think one thing that's really exciting is that it's a game that has no cap, like a scoring cap. So it's not like you fill the goal and you're done and you go, wait, you can keep going. And that always lets us see really, really impressive teams at the higher levels. they'll just be constantly shooting rings or something like that. The games that you can keep going to the last second remind me of some of the older games like Cascade Effect, where you had, which is my favorite game, where you had like a lot of things to do, too many that you couldn't finish them all, which really let those teams who could shoot fast compete well.
Nice. Jeff, any comments on that? What do you think? Predictions?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with the wobble goal. That's an aspect that, I've been doing for 15 years now. I've never seen an aspect like the wobble goal. We've seen shooting, we've seen all sorts of tape that you have to navigate around. The wobble goal will be interesting, especially in auto.
Agree. Paul, you came up.
Yes, I was thinking that it'd be interesting. I always like to see how teams start to strategize with how they will help each other's out, whether it's a shooting type thing, a movement type thing, a lifting type thing. So it'd be interesting to see how the teams look for their winning strategies and designs in the robots. The thing that we are going to miss with this hybrid stuff is when we have all the teams together and they see a robot with a unique arm or something like we saw in the mountain game. I forgot what the name is right now, Rescue or something like that. Somebody would have a tape measure arm and come out, and next thing you know, everybody sees the innovation, so other people try to innovate and try to make, by lunchtime, everybody's got some sort of extending arm to do the same thing. I am concerned that we're going to miss out a little bit with the hybrid. So even if you're not competing and you're not there, I do recommend you watch the tournaments, or you will miss out seeing those innovations. Because the thing I like about the FTC robots that I did mentor on FRC for many years is FTC. I see a lot more innovation because there's more of them, and the majority of the students kind of design them, and they'll come up with things that an FRC team, which is sometimes more mentor driven, would not think of doing, or maybe it would be cost prohibitive to do with a larger robot, but you can do it with what I like to call a rector set type robot, fairly easy. So that's the thing. That's why I stress to the teams that even if you're not playing, watch the other competitions, or you're going to miss out on some of those winning innovations for the next competition.
Definitely. So no questions coming in. So I'll use this moment to, we were talking just before we came online. So there will be a driver's meeting at these events. So it'll be recorded. It won't be live, because what's going to happen as teams rotate in and out of the venue throughout the day, it just speed things up. There'll be some sort of driver's meeting that we'll try and keep updated with, as the game progresses, as the game matures, and the rules. We'll figure out which rules are problematic, which calls are problematic. Those will be a driver's meeting, but there will be basically no question and answers like you would have at a driver's meeting at the beginning of an event. So that being said, this is what we talked about before, is if you have questions, I know we're not getting a lot of questions here. I'm still a little bit early in the season, sort of. So I get it, but please, questions, post them on the game forums. If you have any question about the rules, or, there's a gray area in the rules, they had just come out with an update to Game Manual 2. They actually added a rule, GS14, which was about descoring or scoring or descoring or interfering with the power shots, the forward and back power shots. But post questions in the forum, because those become part of the they actually have more, they actually take precedence over any of the rules in the game manual and the forum manual. And it makes it easy for you to understand the rules and for us to enforce those rules. In fact, yep, we just there. The link is there in our chat. That's where you go. You can post on the traditional events, or you can also post on the remote events forum. Although we will be operating as a traditional event, even though a lot of everything is remote. We'll score under traditional. Any other insight from our head refs here? I'm trying to think. I think just walking through the game, it's very similar. There's the randomization setup is very similar to past games in terms of touching a wall, in terms of preloading. It's a shooting game, so I don't think we've had a shooting game since Velocity Vortex, I think was the last shooting game. Yep, because it's a roll-up recovery. Any other sense in our last couple minutes here? It's last 2 minutes. Any other sense? Any other comments, recommendations to any of the teams out there that are listening now or will be watching us on video later?
So one thing that I saw that I thought is worth noting, in years past, we've always told you to, when we're watching to see if you get over a line or up to a certain height or something, to make it obvious to us. This year, I can't walk to the other side of the field to get a better view. So really make it obvious. The camera will be in a fixed position and we'll see what we see.
That's a very good point. Yep.
The one good news, that we're doing a lot of this through the camera is the referee can be in the audience spot. So, we'll get a really good view just because we're not blocking any real humans.
So we can finally stand in front of the audience.
The big problem is, at least in the Richmond event, a lot of time the team would get in front during the setup. They'd be blocking it, and we'd say, "Hey, Lisa, get them out of there because they're blocking the camera."
Well, we're 1 minute till 7. Randy, Caitlin, Paul, Jeff, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. To speak.
And then, Kristen, you frozen.
Yeah,
a nice big
Kristen's
smile. So I think with that, maybe I will say thank you very much. She's popping back on. Maybe you can close us out.
Yeah, I think either Ron or Kristen were supposed to have some closing. Thanks.
She's trying.
In and out.
Need more Jeffs.
There's Ron.
Some technical difficulties there. So thanks everybody for joining in on this, and thanks also to our sponsor for all our chats, Newport News Shipbuilding, and enjoy the short video that will follow this.